ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get our program started. Welcome to the 18th Annual City of Tampa Women's History Month celebration. I'm Jillian Howard, the chairperson for this year's committee. The City of Tampa Women's History Month celebration was initiated in 1997 to recognize the many accomplishments of its female employees and the contributions of women to our world. Since inception, we have honored a diverse array of professional women, and with continued support, we hope to keep doing so. We thank you for attending today, and we hope you enjoy the program. Now, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our Mistress of Ceremonies. Chief Jane Castor attended the University of Tampa on an athletic scholarship in basketball and volleyball, where she earned a bachelor's degree in criminology, and in 2006, she was inducted into the university's Athletic Hall of Fame. In 2010, she was the recipient of the Alumni Achievement Award. Jane also holds a Master's of Public Administration from Troy State University and is a graduate of the prestigious FBI National Academy. While in the Police Academy, Chief Jane Castor was elected president of her class. Later, as an officer, she quickly moved through the ranks of the Tampa Police Department and has served in nearly every capacity. In 2002, then Lieutenant Castor assumed the lead role in the Department of Homeland Security's Tampa Bay Urban Area Security Initiative. She has become a pioneer in using Homeland Security trends in local law enforcement. During her 30 years as a Tampa police officer, Chief Jane Castor has built a reputation for working side by side with citizens, neighborhood leaders, activists, and business owners to solve problems of crime and improve our community. Those strong partnerships are now the foundation of the department's crime reduction strategy, leading to unprecedented success in making Tampa a safer city. Her dedication to the community reaches far beyond her role within the Tampa Police Department. Chief Castor serves on numerous boards and continues to work with and mentor at-risk children. Most notably, the National Association of Women Law Enforcement Executives named Chief Jane Castor Law Enforcement Executive of the Year. She is also the recipient of the Hillsborough County Bar Association's Liberty Bell Award and the Florida Holocaust Museum's Lobenberg Humanitarian Award. Her newest recognition will occur on March 7th in celebration of International Women's Day, when Chief Castor will receive the Community Leadership Award from Working Women of Tampa Bay. Please help me welcome a former Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award winner and today's Mistress of Ceremonies, Police Chief Jane Castor.
Thank you, Jillian. I'm going to have my two 14-year-old boys come and see you. They're not nearly impressed with me. Maybe you could change that. I am so proud to be standing before you today as the MC, and the one thing that I can guarantee you is when this ceremony is over, that you will all unanimously agree that I make a better police chief than I do an MC. But we'll see what we can do. And I shared with the Air Force earlier that I called in enough reinforcements from the Tampa Police Department. They're behind you back there just in case there's some kind of takeover attempt here in the city. I think we got you. All right. In 1987, Congress officially declared the month of March as Women's History Month. In keeping with this year's theme, we will be celebrating women of character, courage, and commitment by recognizing their contributions to the city of Tampa and the nation. It is because of the unwavering determination and dedicated activism for gender equality by the charismatic women of yesterday that the generations now and tomorrow can aspire to any height. And now, to begin the program, I ask that you please stand for the presentation of colors by members of the MacDill Air Force Base Honor Guard, followed by our national anthem sung by Technical Sergeant Chastity Sullivan. We will conclude with a Pledge of Allegiance and inspirational message from Charity Franks.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the diversity of our spiritual heritages and the unity of our human condition, we invite you to call upon what is highest and deepest by the name you hold sacred and dear. Spirit of life and love, mover of the compassionate heart and human mind, melder of community, be present to us as we gather in celebration and in endeavor. May we be a light with your fire in all our works. We welcome the many presences here, each person uniquely formed and still forming in life's crucible, each one in turn a gift and a giver to the world. We are especially thankful today for those women of character and courage and commitment who have gone before us and worked so that our lives and those of our families might be better. Help us to continue to fight for the rights of all those who face discrimination so that they too may feel equality. Creating, sustaining, renewing spirit, be with us today in our glad greetings, in our heartfelt thanksgivings, and in our bittersweet farewells. Be with us as we seek to embody your love in all our works. Be with us now and always. Amen.
You may be seated. In addition to their important contributions to this event, we recognize the Color Guard, Technical Sergeant Sullivan, and the men and women of the Armed Forces for this courageous and committed service to our country. Let's give them a round of applause. We also thank Charity Franks for those words of inspiration. Charity Franks is a member of the Mayor's Youth Corps class of 2014. While in attendance at Stewart Middle School, she was enrolled in the pre-STEM program and was a participant in the John Glenn Top Gun Academy that partnered with NASA. She is currently a senior in the Middleton High School Engineering Magnet. To give back to our city, Charity was part of the Envision Tampa, Nebraska Corridor project, where she worked with a team of her peers to create a design proposal for a community center on Nebraska Avenue that was presented to Mayor Buckhorn. As much as she loves academia, Charity is not all work without some play. She enjoys reading comics and sci-fi, playing the violin, and drawing. She also volunteers when she's not in school. Charity has a multitude of higher education options, and once in college, she hopes to get her undergraduate degree and later a master's in engineering or aerospace engineering before joining the workforce. Charity is a shining example of what the pioneering women that we celebrate today had in mind. You are an inspiration, young lady, and we wish you all the best in the future accomplishments. Good job. And I will speak for Mayor Buckhorn here and say that when you graduate, you need to come back to Tampa. And if the mayor so directs me, I'll put a tracking device on you to make sure that you don't get lost anywhere. All right, this year's theme, Celebrating Women, Character and Courage and Commitment, honors the extraordinary and often unrecognized determination and tenacity of women. Against social conventions and often legal restraints, women have created a legacy that expands the frontiers of possibility. They have demonstrated their character, courage, and commitment as mothers, educators, institution builders, community leaders, and CEOs. Their lives and work inspire girls and women to achieve their full potential and encourage boys and men to respect the diversity and depth of the female experience. And for the men in the audience, I know that you all had a mother, and most of you are probably married, so you already know that women are in charge. Although we honor the female first, it is our responsibility to ensure that they are not the last. We mourn the loss of notable women of our community, like Haven Poe, a former city council and county commissioner member, and my friend Dottie Berger McKinnon, also a former county commissioner. Both were dedicated advocates for women and children. Dottie is celebrated not only as a part of the Hillsborough County Women's Hall of Fame, but she will also be an inductee into the Florida Women's Hall of Fame on March 12th. To the many still among us and those who have passed, we thank you. And now, to bring us greetings on behalf of Tampa City Council is Councilwoman Yvonne Yoli-Capine. Representing District 3, Ms. Capine was elected to her at-large seat in 2011. She also serves as the chair of the Transportation Committee and represents City Council on several boards and committees. At the ripe age of 21, Councilwoman Capine was exercising entrepreneurial skills as a small business owner. By the age of 26, she had opened her first jewelry store at a regional mall. She is a retired business owner. However, she still provides a great service to Tampa as a councilwoman. It is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Councilwoman Yoli-Capine.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, this year's theme, 2014, Celebrating Women of Character, Courage, and Commitment, the 3 C's. And as she said, I came from a jewelry background, and there are 3 C's when you look at diamonds. And we are diamonds. It is cut, clarity, and carat weight. It's the cut of your character, the clarity of your courage, and the weight of your commitment. And it was stated that it was 1987 when it became 1987. But before that, 1978 in Sonoma County, California, there was a Women's History Week. 1978 was the year my daughter was born. I'm so happy for that. And we declared it is an annual celebration worldwide, an International Women's Day. It should be a paid holiday, really, March 8th. And then in 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th, 1980, National Women's History Week. And then from there, it just blossomed, and state after state and county and school districts took it up. And why I'm here today is to represent City Council in presenting this commendation to our honoree today, which is Ms. Frances Henriquez. And I'll read it real quickly, or not? It's very not. The legacy of change is all around us. As improving metropolitan area, Tampa strives to be a place of growth for women in a wide range of professions. Women's History Month is an annual declared month nationwide that highlights the contributions of women in our nation's history and contemporary society. We honor the pioneers and the activists that have made notable strides for equality for the daughters of newer generations, such that no aspiration seems out of reach. The members of the Tampa City Council are proud to recognize the City of Tampa's Women's History Month celebration on March 4th, 2014, to congratulate Frances Henriquez as the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award recipient, and honor the contributions and accomplishments of all women during Women's History Month. Thank you. Oh, here, you bring it to her, okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Yoli. At this time, we would like to recognize our elected officials, previous Josephine Howard Stafford Award recipients, and other special guests. And this apparently is listed in the order that you arrived, so I'm quite certain no one was tardy. All right, we have the former City Council member and County Commissioner Jan Platt, Catherine Barja, former City Council member, Craig Latimer, our Supervisor of Elections, Chloe Coney, representing the shorter Castor sister, Kathy, Candy Olson from the Hillsborough County School Board, Yvonne Fry from the Hillsborough, Florida Commission on Status of Women, and Jennifer Wilhelm from the same committee, Julie Stafford, the daughter of Josephine Howard Stafford, City Council Chair Charlie Miranda, and I believe Lisa Monteleone, Mike Suarez, and Frank Reddick are here as well. And we just heard from Yoli Capine. Della Curry is representing Sandy Merman from the County Commission. My partner, Tom Forward, City of Tampa Fire Chief. Shirley Fox Knowles, our City Clerk. And Dennis Rogero, the Chief of Staff, is here as well. And if I missed anybody, then clearly it's somebody else's fault. So if I did miss you, you can stand now and we will recognize you. Let's have a round of applause for our City Council members. And then our former Stafford Award recipients, we have Kathy Betancourt and Sandy Sadola are in the audience. A round of applause for them as well. All right, it is now, as it always is, my honor to introduce my friend, and as I say, fearless leader, our Mayor Bob Buckhorn. He believes Tampa's strength is in its diversity, and he truly believes that. He is focused on building an environment that will move Tampa to the next level and create a strong economic climate. As a husband to a highly accomplished wife and father of 2 daughters, Mayor Buckhorn truly understands the need to nurture character, courage, and commitment in the young women of this and future generations. Please help me welcome Mayor Bob Buckhorn.
That is the greatest police chief in America right there. You know, I know a little something about strong, powerful women. I live with 3 of them, including the 8-year-old who thinks it may be pretty cool to be the mayor, but she thinks her daddy's a doofus. And she reminds me of that every day. So I am humbled each and every time I go home by some powerful women. Two of the folks that stood up that you didn't recognize, Candy Olson from the school board and Craig Latimer, our supervisor of elections. Thank you, too, for being here as well. A very, very special friend to this community, someone very, very special to me. He has sworn me in at every installation, inauguration that I have been a part of. He's been an icon to this community for decades. The legend of West Tampa, our friend DJ Salcinas. Judge? Yeah. Yeah. It's always, I enjoy coming to these for a lot of reasons. One, here I am standing next to somebody who knocked down barriers not that long ago. There was a time and a place, and it's a story that's been told many times, how Betty Castor, who was on her way to have lunch with then-Mayor Dick Greco, was denied entrance to the University Club. If you can imagine that, because she was a woman, and that was a club that did not allow women to cross those hallowed doors. Obviously, that has changed drastically. And I think about the people that I was sort of raised with early in my political career when I first arrived here. Some of the iconic figures, certainly political leadership in this community, that not only broke down those barriers, but advanced the cause of this city and this community and this state, and they remain today some of the most inspirational figures that we have. Obviously, Betty Castor being one. I see Jan Platt over there. I see Catherine Barja there. I see the woman who I started with, Sandy Friedman, the first woman mayor in the city of Tampa. I think about people like Pat Frank. I think about people like Haven Poe. I think about people like Pam Iorio, who at the ripe old age of 25 or 26 was elected to the county commission. I think about Helen Gordon Davis and some of the women that really set the tone and the tenor for what this community is all about. And then I think about where I sit now and who sits around my table, if you will, and who makes me look good. People like this amazing chief, people like the first female CFO of the city of Tampa, Sonia Little, the second city attorney, Julia Mandel, the first internal auditor, Christine Glover. I think about Murray Holmes, who runs all of our neighborhood and community partnerships. I think about Shirley Fox Knowles, sitting right there following in the footsteps of Frances Henriquez, who was there when I started, when I was just a young guy with no gray hair, a few less pounds. Oh, thank you, Frances. Can we give her another award? Thank you. I don't get that at home either anymore. See, my 8-year-old reminds me every time we're in Publix, Daddy, can you get that hair stuff for men? I said, I looked through the drawers when I got there for some of the stuff Mayor Greco left, but there was nothing. But there was nothing left. But this is an amazing city, and it's amazing because we celebrate that diversity as a strength. We welcome the accomplishments of everybody. We value everyone's humanity. We honor what people can do to help us advance the cause of this community. We celebrate with each other. We cry with each other during tough times. And I will tell you, we are a better place, and certainly I am a better mayor because of the influence I've had from very, very strong, powerful women, and most importantly, in my current role, from the guidance and the advice that I get from those that are around me. I am a better mayor because of it, and I'm grateful to all of you who make me look good every day. So, on behalf of me, that's pretty cool to say that, I kind of like it. Now, therefore, I, Bob Buckhorn, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Tampa, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2014 as Women's History Month in the city of Tampa, and urge all of our citizens to join me in paying tribute to Frances Henriquez on her selection for this honor, and to observe this month by paying special recognition in their own way to all women who have positively affected their lives. Congratulations. We got more to do. Let's get to work, all right? Thanks.
She said he was cute but too young. Or maybe I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. I'm not sure. All right, well, thank you. Now we all know why we think he's the most amazing mayor in the world. All right, now we enter the awards portion of our program with a special recognition by MacDill Air Force Base. Today, we are excited to partner with MacDill Air Force Base in recognizing a very special woman. To introduce the distinguished award recipient representing MacDill Air Force Base is Colonel Scott DeThomas, the wing commander. The wing's overall mission is to provide the worldwide air refueling and combatant commander airlift support, in addition to the support of the U.S. Central Command, U.S. Special Operations Command, and 36 other mission partners stationed at MacDill. The City of Tampa is pleased to have these men and women also call Tampa their home. Please join me in welcoming Colonel DeThomas.
All right, so the mayor won't tell you. I've often been referred to as the other mayor at the end of Dale Mabry. The community's a little smaller. We only serve about 80,000, not 1-point-something bazillion people in Tampa, but it truly is an honor to be here and part of today's activities. What a great way to start the month of March and celebrate the amazing history of women and the opportunity to come before you and celebrate one of our finest from MacDill. I'd like to thank our elected officials that serve this beautiful city day in and day out. You support us so well. You make my job so much easier. I tell people time and time again, each and every one of you that lives in the Tampa Bay community is what we call in the military an enabler. A combat enabler, a daily enabler. You make our people happy. You take care of us in the highs and the lows. You take care of us when we're deployed. It makes our job that much easier. Commanders, we love coming to work and seeing smiling faces, despite all the things that go on in the world, despite the adversity, the challenges we face. It's great to live in Tampa Bay, surrounded by this amazing community. And for all the leadership in the room, the folks that make this great city great, thank you on behalf of the 15,000 folks that come to work every day, the community of about 80,000 that call MacDill home. Our friends, our families, thank you so much for what you do. Today we get to celebrate one of our finest. She is the most senior female in my organization. As the wing commander, I have just under 4,000 folks that work for me. To reach the rank of colonel in the Air Force requires you to be in the top 5% of your year group. That's a pretty tough year group when you consider the caliber of folks that we recruit. Colonel Beth Decker has time and time again outshined her peers from day one. She is 5th or 6th, I think, in the succession order. I know the mayor probably has his all down. The folks in the council back there know where they fit in that food chain, but Beth would be number 5 or number 6, leading that great wing. She is number 2 in the med group as the colonel in charge of a squadron of about 260 folks, an organization that's 700 strong. A total budgetary authority of about $80 million in our medical group. They service that 80,000 strong community, families, friends, veterans, retirees. We have by far the finest med group in the Air Force. We've been told that multiple times. Under her leadership and the leadership of the men and women she serves, they have routinely outshined their peers. Number 1 of 12 in our military treatment facilities, number 1 of 54 in the Air Force. 2 outstanding ratings last year during the biggest inspection in our base's history. It takes leadership, folks. The fact that you come today and you celebrate these 3 words, and it didn't really dawn on me until I heard it from Chief Castor. Character, courage, and commitment. How much more character, courage, and commitment could you have than to be in this uniform and serve at the level that Colonel Beth Decker has served. She's an amazing woman, leader, officer, mom, and an amazing part of this great team. So it's my honor to thank her and recognize her for her outstanding achievement.
Thank you, Colonel DeThomas, and congratulations to Colonel Decker. And Mayor Buckhorn, you didn't hear this from me, but Colonel Decker is scheduled to be transferred out of here in a couple weeks, so you have a couple weeks to cancel that. Again, you didn't hear it from me. I don't want the Air Force on my bad side. All right, now we have come to a very special part of our program, the presentation of the Josephine Howard Stafford Memorial Award. This award was established in 1997 to honor a current or former City of Tampa female employee who demonstrates outstanding commitment to her position and the community. The award recognizes a woman who is a pioneer in her profession or excels in a career field or professional level where women are underrepresented. That never happens in the police force. The award is given in memory of Miss Stafford, who devoted 24 years to the City of Tampa as an assistant city attorney and was an advocate for women's issues both professionally and in the community. For this year's honoree, we have a special video presentation followed by an introduction from the 2013 recipient, Catherine Barja, the first city councilwoman. Please watch the video.
Frances Henriquez served as City Clerk from November 27, 1973 to September 30, 1993. She began her career in the City Clerk's office in 1954 in a clerical position. She was later appointed Deputy City Clerk in 1962 by Mayor Julian Lane and continued to serve in that position for 11 years.
Dick Greco, he brought me into the office because my boss, Bill Stark, was retiring. And at that time, the position was an appointed one. So I went in there and sat down, and he said, Frances, I want you to run for city clerk. And I looked at him and was thinking to myself, this man's gone crazy. Me run for city clerk? A girl? I've never made a speech in my life. And he said, no, he said, you'll have the support, you'll have my support. He says, and it's about time that a woman got to be city clerk. We need women in office.
In 1973, Frances Henriquez was elected to the office of City Clerk in a special election. She won the election, garnering 78% of the vote, and became the first woman and first Hispanic to hold the position. She was the last city clerk to be elected by popular vote and served for 5 terms. During her 39 years of service to the City of Tampa, she initiated a records management program, later adding the archives section, with the City of Tampa becoming the first city in Florida to create a municipal archives. The building that housed archives and records was named after Frances Henriquez when she retired in 1993.
It was just amazing. I didn't know that the building was being named after me. And when I got there, the mayor was there, the council members were there was people taking pictures, and my family was there, my 2 grandchildren, there were tiny little kids were there. And then I went up and saw that plaque, and I couldn't believe it. It was just so amazing. Oh, to think, here a little girl from Ybor City ran for office and had a building named after her.
Frances Henriquez received many accolades during her tenure with the City of Tampa, including the Florida Association of City Clerks President's Award for exemplary service in promoting educational programs, the Society of Florida Archivist Award of Excellence in 1991 for outstanding contribution to Florida's documentary heritage, and received the Hispanic Woman of the Year Award in 1987. Due to her efforts, the City of Tampa was awarded the prestigious William Olston Award for Excellence in Records Management Programs in 1989. At the 2006 Florida Association of City Clerks Conference, Frances was recognized with a proclamation presented in her honor.
There's a lot of happiness in my heart for the time that I've served with the city and the people that I've met and the friendships that I've made. she gonna be up here? Or? Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it is a great honor to be here on this wonderful occasion. And each year, our Women's History Month, the group, the ladies, and everybody that helps put this project together, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the committee is to be thanked so much for all of the work they do. On behalf of being a recipient of this award last year, it was a privilege and an honor for me. But the best is yet to come. We've got a woman this year who is super. I have known Frances for many, many years, and she always worked quietly in the background, never looking for applause or for, any kudos for herself. It meant so much to her to help set up the archival, first time really to set up our archival files. And she was so concerned of the continuity of the records of the city of Tampa. She's a wonderful woman, just lovable, helpful, and God bless her. She deserves this award. It's been a long time coming. And I just so
Let's give it to her.
okay, let's do it.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, and Kathy can't see to read.
And I can't remember, so I guess.
That's okay. We
Quite to
got
do.
somebody else who
Here,
can
Kathy, turn
do
it this way so the photographers can see you.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I guess. Wonderful, and you gotta say something else. Wonderful.
I got to share something with you first before I start saying thank you. When I was called and told I had received this award, I was going to receive this award, I sat down and wrote a 100-page speech, front and back. But I've got good news. From the time I got up from there to here, I can't remember a word. But you have to give me some slack at my age. I want to thank, this is the speech now, so I want to thank Jillian Howard, Chairman, the members of the Women's History Memorial Committee for this prestigious award. And Mayor, where's the mayor at? He's gone? Oh, there, he's someplace. Thank you. You're still doing the same thing you done 20 years ago. He's always hiding from me. And that's because he was the mayor's administrative assistant when I first met him so many years ago. And so every time he saw me come, he said, oh gosh, you want something again. What the? But anyhow, he's been a good assistant, he's been a good friend, and he's even a better mayor. And Kathy, I want to thank you also for those kind words. For a while there, I thought I was in the wrong room. But when I first started in the city clerk's office, years ago, 60 years ago, it was a three-man office. There was a city clerk, a deputy clerk, and the clerk typist, which was a man, typing the minutes. And Tampa at that time was a town. And there were no upper-level positions for women either. They were either typists or filing clerks, or if you were lucky, you were an assistant to the assistant to the assistant. But things have changed, and we see now, she needs no introduction. And Catherine Barja, the first woman council member, mayor, Sandy Friedman, and so many others in so many positions. So Tampa now could say is the metropolitan. That's a word that's left me. And it's grown now, and it's become a beautiful, beautiful city. But being here today also gives me the unique opportunity of thanking the people who have made all this possible because of their support, friendship throughout the years. The mayors that I worked under, they're still here with us, Greco and Poe, Martinez and Friedman, and I owe them a lot. And also the council members who put up with me all these years. I think I see Charlie Miranda out there, and if you're out there, I can't see you, much less even remember. But I want to thank you for the support you always have given to me, and the staff, my staff that worked under me, and they're the ones that belong up here. They're the ones that have made me look good. There's Sandy and Judy, and they're all down there. Stand up, ladies. Just stand up. And you know what? They're still working for the city. But I also want to thank my family for the support they have given me throughout the years. My whole family, I see cousins and nieces and nephews and sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws, and thank you so much. Would you all stand up, please? I'm almost through. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, my family, my son Wally Jr., and his wife Nancy, my daughter Lori, and my grandchildren, Ryan, Wade, Madison, who couldn't be here because he's in Tallahassee taking tests in college, and my lovely other granddaughter, Stormy. Stormy, you got to stand up. They got to see how pretty you are. She's not going to do it. But really and truly, in closing, it's my mother that should be here by me. She was my inspiration and the one that made all this possible for me. She would always tell me these little snippets that the Latin mothers tell their daughters. And I don't know whether she thought of these little sayings herself, or she just read them and said they were her own. One of them was, I'm going to translate it in English. She told me, put your dreams into words and your words into action, then hang tough. I hope I did you well, Mama. Thank you for coming.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Remember me if I ever get a ticket. I don't drive anyway.
Congratulations on a well-deserved award. You are truly an inspiration. I saw Shirley Fox Knowles shaking her head and smiling the entire time. We were all benefactors of your hard work and forging a path for all of us. Now we have reached the entertainment segment, and fortunately for all of you, I will not be performing, but you will actually see some young women with real talent. We have a performance from Power Stories Theater, and I have seen many performances, been privileged to be involved with many of the performances that they have put on, and it is amazing. Power Stories is a theatrical production company performing true stories on stage. Through powerful storytelling and acting, these stories connect with audiences on a very personal level, inspiring and empowering them to strengthen their own lives. The nonprofit theater, located in Tampa, provides women's inspirational theater, girls' stories leadership theater, and Seek and Speak Your Story workshops. The agency won National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award in 2010 and received the award at the White House from the First Lady, Michelle Obama. As I said, I've been privileged to attend many of their performances, but apparently my invitation for the White House was lost somewhere. In November last year, Power Stories founder, Fran Powers, was awarded the Community Hero Award from the Lightning for providing an outlet for those true stories that would otherwise go untold and change lives in the progress. Today's performance will be a compilation from the Power Stories production, Shevolution. Enjoy the pieces celebrating women of character, courage, and commitment. Today's performers will be Peggotty Cooper, Cheryl Flowers, Janice Nippon Sixt, and Fran Powers. Welcome to the stage.
Welcome.
Shalom.
Namaste.
Or in the Western African community, we would sing our welcome. Funga Alafia. Join us. Funga. Funga Alafia. Ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia. Ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia. Ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia. Ashe, ashe. We are Power Stories Theater. We stage true stories to open minds and hearts. Let's meet the performers who are on stage today.
I am Cheryl, daughter of Marion, granddaughter of Mary and Annie Mae, mother of James, great-granddaughter of Malviny, whose mother, Alma, was born a slave in South Carolina.
I am Janice, daughter of Ruthie, granddaughter of Faye and Bernice, mother of Court and Brooke. I descend from Am Yisrael, the people of Israel.
I am Peggotty, daughter of Catherine, granddaughter of Trudy and Elizabeth, and great-granddaughter of Charlotte, whose ancestors sailed to the colonies on the second voyage of William Penn.
And I am Fran, daughter of Betty, granddaughter of Eva and Ethel, sister to 11 siblings. And we descend from the Cherokee Nation. We are here today to share very short snippets of stories about women who have affected us in our lives, courage, commitment, and character.
My stepmother had always had a different opinion. She became my stepmother when she married my father and his 5 children. When my sister and I were teenagers and just obsessed with our looks and our blatant imperfections and the style of our clothes and, oh, those hand-me-downs, Mom would say, "No one will notice on a galloping horse." What does that mean? We don't use a horse to get from here to there anymore. But that phrase still comes back to me long after she's galloped on. She lived her whole life on a galloping horse, always engaged in interesting things, never at a loss for stories of new adventures or tales of trying new things. For her, if you had time to worry about the small things, it was time to get on a galloping horse, because no one would notice as you whizzed by. She was a woman of great courage.
By the time I was 6 years old, I'd already lived in 2 states and 3 different countries. I had no friends or playmates. I'd watched the children playing and wanting to be included, but never being asked to join in. One day after work, a neighbor girl gave me an invitation to her birthday party, my first invitation. I remember going to the house and seeing the table laid out with the presents and the cake. It was just like on TV. After the party, each girl was given a white apron with our initial in red. Oh, my first gift from someone outside of my family. I felt accepted. All this from a woman I didn't know. She showed great commitment to her community.
When I was growing up, both of my parents were so supportive of my singing and performing. They were my best audience. But it was my mother who had a life-altering conversation with me when I announced my college plans. "Mom, I think I'll major in English. I bet I could get a job as an English teacher." "Why would you do that? You adore the theater. You're going to a school with a renowned performing arts center. Why would you not major in theater?" Wow, I can do what I really want to do? Okay. Theater has been vital to my life, and I'm especially grateful to my mother for that. She was so committed to her family.
It's just a few Sundays ago, and I'm at the beach, 9 o'clock in the morning. My toes are in the sand, and my head is back, and the sun is on my face. And in my lap is this great book by Sue Monk Kidd called The Invention of Wings. And I just finished reading a chapter where the 2 main characters, Sarah and Angelina Grimke, finally, after years of fighting against slavery, finally in the early 1800s are standing on stage, and they're finally speaking their voice to thousands of women. It was such a courageous moment. And at that moment, I felt so proud to be in the presence of such women of character. We thank you for allowing us to be here for just a moment to share stories of women of
Commitment
and character. Thank you very much.
All right, great job. Thank you very much. All right, the keynote address will be presented by a woman who, without a doubt, embodies character, courage, and commitment. Betty Castor has had a long and distinguished career as a public servant and educator, most notably as the president of the University of South Florida, commissioner. I don't even need to look up to know who said that. Most notably as, Commissioner of Education and President and CEO of the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. She has had a lifelong interest in international affairs, which began as a college student. Following graduation, she joined the Teachers for East Africa program in 1963 and taught secondary school in Uganda for 2 years. Her global interests were recognized recently with her appointment by President Obama to the Fulbright Foreign Scholarship Board. Castor's civic and governmental career began in Hillsborough County in 1972 when she was elected to the Hillsborough County Commission, the first woman to achieve that distinction, and we heard that story. She later ran successfully for the Florida Senate, the fourth female elected to that chamber, where she served 3 terms. In 1986, following a statewide campaign, Castor became the Commissioner of Education for the first woman elected to the Florida Cabinet. During her tenure, she helped to establish the state's first preschool early childhood programs. She also emphasized global exchanges between Florida's higher education community and institutions around the world. Castor was appointed president of the University of South Florida by the Florida Board of Regents in 1993. She continued her advocacy for international exchanges and global outreach. The university established relationships with Chinese universities, and Castor led a delegation to the African Economic Summit in Harare, Zimbabwe. I had to read that like 3 or 4 times. That just sounds great. Harare, Zimbabwe. I think I'm going to have to go there. She was recruited to lead the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards in 1999 and served in that capacity for several years. She returned to USF in 2006 to serve as executive director of the Patel Center for Global Solutions, an endowed center launched by the university to address the challenges of globalization in developing countries. Castor's current interests are in public affairs and charitable activities. In addition to her membership on the Fulbright Board, she worked with former colleagues who taught in East Africa to launch charitable organizations to assist schools and universities there. Castor has received numerous awards for leadership in education and global efforts, and in 1996, she was inducted into the Florida Women's Hall of Fame. Castor is a graduate of Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey. She received her master's degree from the University of Miami. She's married to Samuel P. Bell III, an attorney and former legislator. She is also the mother of Congresswoman Kathy Castor, state legislator Karen Castor Dental, and Frank Castor, a county judge in Palm Beach. Clearly a family of underachievers. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, the Honorable Betty Castor.
Thank you very much, Chief. I appreciate the introduction. We got to keep the family close here. Well, thanks very much for inviting me to participate in this annual event, and congratulations to all of you who have received the awards today, and to the Tampa Women's History Committee. You've done just a fantastic job. Let me assure all of you that my keynote address will be short. As I was preparing my remarks and reflecting on the progress of women and the parallel progress of the city of Tampa, it became very apparent to me that Tampa has a very positive history of promoting women. My own observations of Tampa began when I moved here in the late 60s. As a young mother, our family moved to Carrollwood, not far from Jane's family, outside of the city limits. I don't have to tell you that Tampa was a much smaller place 45 years ago than it is today. There was no Channelside, no Harbor Island residential community. There was no new Tampa, Lisa and city council members. The airport could hardly have been described as international. And there was no West Shore business district competing with the downtown. There was one lonely woman on the city council, Kathy Barja, who you heard from earlier and who was recognized last year at this event. The mayors, of course, were men. And it's how much has changed in just 2 generations. It really, truly is unbelievable, the speed with which other people have taken their places in this city and all over Florida. I think it's very appropriate that we annually remember Josephine Stafford. Wow, what a talented woman she was. You know, her early life, as her daughter well knows, was spent in North Carolina. And she was a graduate of the University of North Carolina Law School in 1952. There couldn't have been many women in law schools at that time, so she was 62 years ago, what a pioneer she was. I met her later in her legal career here because she was the head of the Legal Aid Society, and others of you know her. And she just led a storied career. But let me tell you, she wasn't the first pioneer woman in Tampa. Gratefully, we now know more about all of them, some of them. Thanks to the strong advocacy of Doris Weatherford and the leadership of the Tampa Riverwalk Committee, we now have 4 women whose sculptures grace the Riverwalk Monument Trail. They weren't ordinary women either. They were strong, committed, believed in impossible missions, and could have been overlooked except for Tampa citizens, Your Honor, who thought they should be recognized. Ella Chamberlain, who came to Tampa in 1883 and was an early and passionate advocate for women's right to vote. Who knew it would take so long? By the way, she lived to see the 19th Amendment become law. Thank you, EJ, and all the rest of you who are on that committee. Clara Fry moved to Tampa in 1901. Trained as a nurse, she treated African-American patients in her own home, started a larger hospital, and struggled to make ends meet until her death in 1936. Paula Pedrosa was perhaps one of the lesser-known names. Although she was born and died in Cuba, she became a cigar maker in Tampa and worked with Jose Marti to organize exiles in the fight against Spain. Kate Veronica Jackson is perhaps my favorite. She was a one-woman civic improvement league. She founded the Tampa Civic Association in 1911 and was a major factor in advocating for the city's first water and sewer system, its first library, and especially its recreational facilities. All of those women had family stories to tell as well. For instance, Jackson's mother fled Ireland in the famine of 1840, and Paula Pedrosa's parents were slaves. So Tampa has gone a long way in recognizing some of those women who played a role in history and recognizing them so that younger people will have an opportunity to remember them. There are a lot of firsts, and you've mentioned them over and over today. And in those first, women made an impact. At the city level, they addressed the same issues as the men: zoning, environment, housing, law enforcement, and it seems that at all levels, education and social issues were important, and much progress was made. I was reminded by the mayor and by Steve Otto in his column yesterday morning, and who I remember it, of course, like it was yesterday when I was kicked out of the wonderful university club. And I wanted to tell the story of Kathy Barja because she was on the city council at the time, and I was kicked out one day, and the next day the city council met, and they all opined how terrible this situation is for a woman to be kicked out of the university club. And Kathy said, you know, I would not have left. They would have had to chain me to a chair, or they would have had to pick me up and take me out physically. Well, I really appreciated that advice. I, at the time, left peacefully. I was on the 22nd floor, and I just had to look down to understand that I didn't want a quick exit. The irony of that story, of course, is that I was asked by a woman to leave and get out of there quick. That's okay. A few years later, I was elected to the Florida Senate. And along with other co-sponsors, we passed legislation that barred any state or local government from having meetings in any places that discriminated against women and minorities and anybody else on the basis of race. So there are some things to remember, and one of them is get even. There have been many firsts on the electoral front. Sammy Friedman will always claim the title of first female mayor. And who isn't proud of our first female police chief? She has been a fantastic She has been a fantastic role model for both girls and boys. And while both Sandy and Jane share similar aggressive tendencies, I'm willing to bet that some of the experiences they gained in their formative athletic careers had a little to do with their later success. I'm not going to get into the history of this area, but one of the hallmark bills of our time was the passage of Title IX. There's no question about it. Our daughters, like the mayor's, and our granddaughters, like Jan's and mine, now can earn athletic scholarships in the same number as our sons and grandsons. And that has made a fantastic and important difference. I want to close, but not before recognizing the city once again for its history in naming women to administrative positions. Some were mentioned earlier by the mayor: chief financial officers, chief lobbyists, human resource leaders, growth management heads, purchasing. Women in Tampa have held them all. So today we celebrate with Frances Henriquez and with Colonel Decker, and we lift our glass to those who have served and those who are serving to lead Tampa to new historic heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Betty. That was outstanding. And that is so true, the Title IX. I tell everyone that athletics has played such an important role in my life. The fact that I was 6 foot tall in the second grade didn't hurt my basketball career. People always said, you know, when you rode the bus, do you remember when your feet didn't touch the ground? I said, no, I don't really remember that one. But really, it is out there on the court, in the field, where I learned the life skills that have served me so well. Most importantly, the one that is often overlooked, the ability to get along well with others. And then also a full athletic scholarship to the University of Tampa is something that I will always look upon as really the key to any of the successes that I have enjoyed. And I want to say, as someone who was born and raised here in Tampa, that I am very, very proud to be in a city that embraces its diversity and values everyone's skill. And I'm very, very proud of that and very thankful. Well, this has been a wonderful ceremony. I think that some of us, we were also given some entertainment up here from the podium down to see Josephine Stafford's. I would have to assume that is her great-grandchild, with the energy of the ever-ready bunny, or whatever that is, around there trying his or her best to get that balloon. They finally had to take him out of here, but if I had half that energy, but I would guess that a lot of that comes from the great-grandmother. Again, this has been a wonderful program. Thank you to all the program participants, the sponsors, MacDill Air Force Base, and the Women's History Month Planning Committee for their work to make this celebration a success. I'd like to recognize the Women's History Month committee members. Ladies, will you all please stand for a round of applause? Good job. No one knows the amount of work it takes to make an event like this appear flawless. During the month of March, you can help women re-entering the workforce. As part of Women's History Month, gently worn suits, work attire, and accessories are being collected for the Dress for Success program. You may drop off your clean, neatly folded donations throughout the month, and I'll be checking to make sure they're neatly folded. A skill that clearly boys aren't born with, if you look at my two children. Okay, throughout the month of March, at the 5th floor of the Tampa Municipal Office Building, Solid Waste Department, Construction Services Center, and Columbus Municipal Office Building. Please support this worthy cause that helps women transition back into the workforce. On your way out, please view the Women's History display in the lobby. The display will remain in the mascot room located on the first floor of Old City Hall building during the month of March for additional viewing. We hope you take the spirit of this celebration with you throughout the month and for the year ahead. And finally, if you haven't already done so, before leaving, please get your ticket for reduced parking in the convention center, and this will be the first and last time that you will ever have the chief of police fix your parking ticket. Thank you all for coming.